Hi everyone, Sailor Moon here. Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld, Michelle here. And today we're going to talk about how Duane got into Sailor Moon. Now, keep in mind, Duane did not get into Sailor Moon as early like many other folks. Many other folks who are in the Sailor Moon now got into it in between 95 YL. So, somewhere and Duane Saga starts somewhere in between 95 YL, where he would, I don't know, get up early enough, and he must have been days where he didn't have to go to learn or something. And he ended up, would be watching Sailor Moon on WB, or was it UPN? One of the two. It had to be one of the two. And he would see some sagas of it, and then he would go through the rest of his day, and he wouldn't talk about it, not at home, not at learn. And then years go by, you know, and then years go by, and he forgets about ever watching it. Not until the end of the 8th month of 2008 YL does he even start talking, but he even brings it up. And it happens because the nostalgia critic, or the old scaver, Douglas Walker, ends up talking about it. And then he goes, "Oh, I think about watching that." And then after that, he was into it, and he's been into it, ever since then. And it's true that, and that's how he got into it. Many other folks might have their own saga of how they got into it, but that was how Duane got into it, And then he had to start, slowly gathering all his dolls that you see there. And keep in mind, a lot of those dolls came from Amazon or Strong Woman's website. Very few of them came from eBay. And it's true that he doesn't got every single Sailor Moon doll ever made by Bandai or Irwin or whatever, Great Eastern Glee, but he's got a lot of them, And no, he doesn't got every single disc ever made, but he does got some of the Sailor Moon films, the Deke ones and the Pioneer ones, and he does have the books, at least the books that were being furlayed and 24 between YL, and he does have the discs to the Viz Sailor Moon, So yeah, but he'd gotten into Sailor Moon way early back then. You got anything to say about that? Yeah, you're right, Sailor Moon. I mean, at the end of the day, either he saw it on UPN or WB, and this must have been days where he didn't have to go to learn. And why he didn't say anything to anyone about it is beyond me. It wasn't like it was a guilty glee. No, he wasn't guilty for watching it. So it wasn't a guilty glee. For whatever grounds, he just chose not to bring it up. He didn't bring it up at home or at learn or whatever. And it's true that years go by and either he does watch it on USA or cartoon or whatever, but doesn't say anything about it. So the drawing show folk work. So anyway, years go by and he doesn't even know what the name it is, doesn't even think of it anymore. And until the nostalgia critic or the old scaver, Douglas Walker, brings it up, then that's how he gets into it. That's how he goes, "Oh, I watched that back in the day." And that's how he got into it. And I know there's a lot of folks out there, not everyone, but some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who, will say that they've been into it from between 95 YL. And that's if they're old enough like he is. The younger ones need be gotten into it, back in, 24 between or whatever. So some folks may have gotten into it during the Viz work of Sailor Moon. Others, like Duane, gotten into it through the Deke and Pioneer Sailor Moons, but whatever. So anyway, that's a saga about how Duane got into Sailor Moon. It's nothing outstanding, but to him it is. Give this film a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.